Alright, for this tips and tricks video, I want to talk about something viewer Travis said in my Shadow and Flame video. I had mentioned using Imladra Stargazer in the action window at the end of the refresh phase. So this would be after everybody readies, you then exhaust her, and you can rearrange your deck so you draw the card you want. And he pointed out if you're playing a quest that could deal 1 damage to each exhausted character, or maybe discard each exhausted character, something like that, you might want to wait and not use Imladra Stargazer during that action window. Instead, use her in the action window at the end of the combat phase to rearrange your deck. And then the next round you draw the card you want, and then that round you use her again at the end of the combat phase. And this is good advice for any character that has 1 hit point, like Master of the Forge, Warden of Healing. If you know there's a chance they could die from a treachery or a shadow card that targets exhausted characters, wait till after the end of the combat phase to use these characters with 1 hit point to exhaust them. If you're playing a quest that doesn't deal damage or makes you discard exhausted characters, then you can use them whenever, like I was doing at the end of the refresh phase, or you could use Master of the Forge during the planning phase, and he can be exhausted all round. That's okay. So the tip here is know your quest. Know if the quest is going to damage these 1 hit point characters if they're exhausted. If it is, wait to use them until it's safe. Alright, let's get into some Steward Sphere. Alright, Steward Sphere. It's a fan favorite. It's a favorite of mine. There's a lot to set up. So side 1A, we got to create something called the Underworld deck. We remove a location from the encounter deck and set it aside. We take these 3 villain cards and we randomly set one aside. And then we do the same thing with 3 plot cards. So we're going to have a random villain and a random plot that is going to be endangering us on this quest, which makes it very replayable and very fun. The Underworld deck is all the enemies from 2 encounter sets, and you can find out how to create that by looking at the rules insert for this quest or going to the LOTR quest companion. They have all the rules in that website. Alright, side 1B, we're going to make the 4th star the active location, then we shuffle the encounter deck, and then it has a effect. You don't actually place progress on this quest. What you do is you place a resource there every time you explore the active location. Once there's 4 resource tokens there or more, you advance to the next stage. So we're going to definitely want to be traveling to locations and exploring them. So the 4th star has Underworld X. We'll talk about that in a second. 3 threat, 5 quest points. X is the number of players in the game. And then when it leaves play, we get to draw a card. We're going to set the roots out of play for now. And then let's talk about the Underworld deck. So here's the Underworld deck. I'm marking it with that token. It's all the enemies from the encounter sets. And then you also shuffle in the clues from the Steward Sphere. So that creates the Underworld deck. You give that a shuffle. And then anytime a location with the Underworld keyword comes into play, you take the top card from this deck and you're going to slide it underneath that location. When that location is explored, you add the cards that were underneath it one at a time to the staging area. So you have a very good chance when you clear those locations to have enemies revealed. Alright, in the upper right, you're going to see me randomly picking my plot and villain. So we're going to be playing with Denethor. He's 8 threat and then 3 defense, and he can be exhausted to look at the top card of the encounter deck, and you can put that on the bottom of the encounter deck. And he's lore, so that's great. We're also going to play with Spirit Glorfindel for the first time. So he has a negative effect. After he exhausts to commit to the quest, you have to raise your threat by 1, and he's only 5 threat, which is really amazing. Keeping your threat low is very important for this quest. This is the quest that introduced us to Outlands, so I thought we would play Outlands and show how those guys work. So we're going to have Herluin the Fair, and he can pay for Outland allies of any sphere, and he is 8 threat, 1114, but those stats are definitely going to change. Yep, Outlands. I'm going to give him a run for this quest just because I want to make sure I play him at least once. That means my board state is going to be insane. I'm going to have a lot of stuff going on between this quest and Outlands. It's going to be pretty bonkers. Outlands are fun. They just get boring after a while if you play them a lot because they just don't require a lot of strategy to play once they're in play. You do have to strategize about which ones you want to play first when you have a handful of them. But they are very powerful. Everyone should play them at least once. Sometimes if you're smashing your face against a wall trying to beat a hard quest, it's fun to bring an Outlands deck to an easier quest and just rage beat it. Just beat the snot out of a quest. Alright, let's look at my opening hand. So a Very Good Tale, that's a great card I can now use thanks to it being available at the time of this purchase. That lets you exhaust 2 allies and you add up the cost of those 2 allies. You shuffle your deck and then you discard the top 5 cards of your deck, and you can put 2 allies into play that have a cost equal to or less than the cost of the 2 allies you exhausted. Without a doubt, this is one of the most powerful cards in the game. Here's an Outlands guy, so he's a Knight of the Swan, and I have a second one. And this is how Outlands work. His ability says each Outlands character you control gets +1 attack. So if you get 3 of these in play, all your Outlands characters get +3 attack. So yeah, that's what they do. They all boost each other. Each one boosts a different stat. All right, we got Gandalf, a Warden of Healing. So this card is now available. Exhaust it to heal 1 damage on 2 different characters in play. Then you can spend 2 lore resources to pop him back up and do it again. And then we also got Master of the Forge. So exhaust Master of the Forge, look at the top 5 cards of your deck for an attachment, and add it to your hand. This is a really good opening hand. The only thing I'm missing is some willpower, but I think I can power through it for a little bit, and I'm sure I will get my willpower shortly. So this is a very difficult quest to get on camera. Here's everything labeled that's already in play. This is without me playing a single card. All this stuff is already on the table. If I was playing just by myself, I would have like 2 play mats and spread everything out. Okay, what do I draw? Burning Brand. Great. So I can attach that to Denethor, and he can cancel a shadow. I'd really like to get Steward of Gondor because I have a lot of expensive lore cards, and it would be awesome to get Steward on Denethor to help pay for everything. Master of the Forge, of course, could help me find Steward. Okay, so I can only play Knights of the Swan, and there's really no point in playing them since they won't be questing for anything. So I do exhaust Glorfindel to quests, and I have to raise my threat to commit him to the quest, so I'll commit 4, and I reveal a card that says end the quest phase. So that just simply means we don't place any progress, we don't reveal another card. It slows you down, and this quest, one of the ways you lose is because of threat. So that is a quest card that would basically make you have to go another round, and you could potentially threat out if you were hoping to win during that quest phase. So it's a nasty card if it hits you late. Early game, I'm really glad to see it. Well, since Denethor is ready, we might as well take a look at the top card, and it's going to be a 3 threat location. I'm fine with that, so we'll put that on top of the deck. We won't move it to the bottom. So now we know what we're going to be questing against, and we just advance to the next round. Everyone gets some money. And then Ancient Matham, okay, attached to a location, and if that location is explored, you draw 3 cards. Now I'm going to play Master of the Forge, and I'm really hoping to find Steward, because I could really start exploding my board state if I could. No Steward attachment, but I did get Asphaleth, which attaches to Glorfindel, and then you exhaust Asphaleth to place 2 progress on a location. So that's good. That's one of my attachments I was hoping to find with my Master of the Forge. Now I really want Steward, because that's another 2-cost lore card, and I'm only generating 1 lore resource around right now. So I will spend 1 spirit resource to put that Ancient Matham. That active location is not immune to player card effects, so I can do that. Nothing in my hand will boost willpower, so I might as well not play anything, and I know what I'm questing against. It's a total of 3 threat. I'm going to send 4, and we're going to make 1 progress, and then I'll use Denethor to peek at the top card. And it's going to surge. So it's return all Brigard enemies that are engaged with players to the staging area. I'm going to put that on the bottom of the deck, and we're going to advance the round. So at this point, what I'm really hoping is I'm going to use Master of the Forge and find Steward of Gondor. That would be amazing. I'm actually going to trigger Master of the Forge before I draw my cards. I'm going to use him in the refresh phase, just in case the only attachment was the top card. It wasn't. It was 5 down. So I would have found it even if I used Master of the Forge after I drew a card. But I have had that happen where the card I draw is an attachment, and then I trigger Master of the Forge, and the next 5 cards were not. This quest does not have a treachery that deals damage to exhausted characters, but you can deal damage to all your allies by engaging certain enemies. So this is definitely a quest where you want to use your allies before engagements. All right, so I draw another Ancient Matham. So no Steward, but I am going to be able to draw 6 cards when I clear that location. Actually, it would be 7 if I remembered that that location itself draws me a card, but I'm pretty sure I forget that. I played Light of Valinor on Glorfindel, so now he does not exhaust to commit to the quests. Since he does not exhaust to commit to the quests, I do not have to raise my threat by 1 when he commits, so that's pretty awesome. I don't know what I'm up against, so I will play this Knights of the Swan. That gives all Outlands characters +1 attack. There's also a treachery called Knife in the Back that I'm worried about. So if I reveal that, I have to choose an ally and deal damage equal to its attack to one of my heroes and then discard the ally. And I really don't want to discard Master of the Forge, so I'm going to get a second ally in play, just in case I decide to commit Denethor for one more willpower. And we get, yep, a Knife in the Back. So randomly select an ally, and then deal damage equal to that ally's attack, and then discard the ally. So I'm hoping I discard Knights of the Swan. I really don't want to lose my Master of the Forge, and of course I do. So, oh well. I gave it a shot. I tried to prevent that from happening. Of course I failed. So that adds no threat, which is nice. So I make 2 progress. So I've made 3 out of 5. And we're going to go into the next round. What's funny is my lack of willpower now. If you've ever played Outlands before, you know what's waiting. And once it gets going, the amount of willpower I can generate is insane. All right, the Anfiles Herdsman adds 1 hit point to all Outlands characters. Probably the most important Outland character you need to get in play, because they're all pretty squishy. All right, Asphaleth is going on Glorfindel. I will exhaust it, and that will clear the North Star, which will let me draw 6 cards from Ancient Matham, and I do forget that North Star had a response that would have let me draw another card. And then this is a 3-threat enemy that gets plus attack for each underworld location in play. So let's see what 6 cards I get. Another very good tale. Another Light of Valinor. Hey, there's Arwen. So when she exhausts, she adds a defense to somebody. There's a sneak attack. There's my Outlands that adds willpower, and then another Warden. So the Aether Swordsman costs 2 spirit resources, and he gives every Outlands character +1 willpower, and he already has 1. So as soon as he enters play, he's questing for 2. All right. Talk about options. 2 very good tales, lots of allies in hand, but no steward. Of course, there's only 2 in the deck because I'm just playing with 1 core set. I have a little less chance of getting them. So I will play 1 Aether Swordsman. Herluin can pay for Outlands of any sphere. Glorfy still had 1 resource. During the quest phase, I'm going to play Sneak Attack Gandalf. And I'm going to kill that enemy up in staging. And then, before I commit characters to the quest, I'm going to play a very good tale. I will exhaust Gandalf and the Knights of the Swan. I don't have to make progress on the quest, so I will have plenty of characters ready to quest, not counting the 2 that are hopefully going to come into play. There's lots of allies in this deck. So, you give it a shuffle. I've exhausted 6 resources worth of allies, and I think all my allies cost 2. So I'm definitely going to be able to put in any 2 allies that I find. It's just going to be a matter of which ones. So I start out with the Warrior of Lossark or whatever. Gleowine, another very good tale. The Hunter of Lambden, and another Hunter of Lambden. So you have to discard whatever cards don't go into play. So the Warrior, the leadership one, he boosts defense. So I think I'm going to put him in play, and then I'll put in this other Outlands character that has 1/1/1 stats. The Hunter there, the lore one, he lets you look at the top card of your deck if you play him from your hand, and if it's an Outlands character, you'd get to put that card in your hand. But since he was put in by a very good tale, I don't get to trigger that. But like I said, I have lots of willpower I'm sending to the quest right now, because that Aether Swordsman is boosting all my Outlands characters, and we get a 3-threat location that has Underworld 1, so we take the top card and slide it under there. And if there was an active location, we would have put an Underworld card under that. Okay, so I quested against 6. I don't put any progress on the quest. And then we will travel. I have no combat. Gandalf should have left play at the end of the quest phase. There he goes. Denethor didn't do anything, so I will exhaust him to peek. And we're going to be up against another Knife in the Back. So we're going to use his ability to put that card at the bottom of the quest deck. I don't want to see that. And then we're going to advance the round to the next round. And we draw, okay, Daron's Runes. Draw 2 cards, discard a card from your hand. And we draw a second Daron's Runes and a second give every Outlands character +1 hit point. Okay, we're going to play the Light of Valinor, or we're going to discard the Light of Valinor. We're going to play another Daron's Runes. And we get Hendemarth River Song and another Ether Swordsman. Looking at my hand, I don't think I'll ever get 2 Wardens in play. It looks like I'm never finding Steward. So I really need to get one of these Amphalos Herdsmen into play, because I'm playing with fire right now with my Outlands all only having 1 hit point. So I'm definitely going to need to get that guy in play this turn. I'm just looking at all these cards, trying to decide what's my best play. Alright, so we're going to play a second Ether Swordsman, so now every Outlands character has +2 willpower. Remember what I said about willpower being crazy? Alright, so now I need to exhaust 4 resources worth of Outlands characters, because like I said, all my allies cost 2, so as long as I find 2 allies, I'll be able to afford them both, unless I find only 1 2-cost ally in Gandalf, but that is extremely unlikely. Okay, what did I get? I got another Hunter, I got another Knights of the Swan, I got a Miner of the Iron Hills, I got a Burning Brand, and I got another Master of the Forge. Okay, that's really good. So the Master of the Forge is going to come back. And then I believe Knights of the Swan is my best bet, because I've obviously already got enough Outlands characters in play just for willpower purposes. Now I want to boost their attack. So whenever I reveal that villain, I want them all to be able to attack for a lot. Because remember, any cards I don't use when I do that A Very Good Tale, they get discarded. Alrighty, Master of the Forge finds me Protector of Lorien. So you attach that to a character, and then you discard a card to give it +1 willpower or defense till the end of the phase. Maximum of 3. Alright, Amphalos Herdsman's coming into play. Now all my Outlands characters have another hit point, and we're looking really good. This is your typical Outland swarm right here. So each of those Ether Swordsmen are questing for 3. Glorfindel's questing for 3. That's a total of 9. And then we reveal a 2-threat location that has an underworld. So we are going to clear the active location, making our second resource on the quest. And we get, alright, Zealous Trader. When he engages a player, deal 1 damage to each ally. There we go. If you don't optionally engage it, you have to deal 2 damage. But, yep, Amphalos Herdsman was definitely a good call to get in play there. And we are going to engage that trader after I travel. And now I'm going to put a lot of damage on the board. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it, but I lose my Master of the Forge again. So I've now lost 2 Masters of the Forge that I've put in play. So that stinks. Alright, Asphaloth is going to put 2 progress on the active location, and we clear it, and hey, we get a clue! So exhaust a hero to claim this objective, add it to the victory display, and place 1 resource token on the current quest. Well, clearing that active location just gave us our 3rd resource token. So if I'm able to claim that clue, I will be placing the 4th resource token, and we will advance to stage 2. Alright, Denethor is defending. Attacking enemy gets +2. So Denethor takes 2 damage. He's 1 hit point away. And then Glorfindel plus, I don't know, choose your Outlands character. Kills that traitor. Herluin is still ready, so I might as well exhaust him and then add this to the victory display to place that 4th progress, and we are going to advance to stage 2. Alright, stage 2A, just reveal the set-aside plot. So let's see what plot we got. And it is, at the end of each round, raise each player's threat by 2. Okay, that's why starting with a low threat is very good. Okay, when revealed, we're going to add the Roots of Mendalunium? Sure, whatever, as the active location, and then it's the same deal where every time we explore the active location, we're going to place 1 resource there, and then once we have 4 resources, we advance to the next stage. Okay, the Roots of Mendalunium, Underworld 1, 5 quest points, and then while it's the active location, all locations in the staging area get +2 quest points. So we need to make 5 progress on that location to clear it, and we're going to add the top card from the Underworld deck under it. And that was all happening at the end of the round, basically. So we're going to raise our threat by 3. So I'm putting that token on my counter to help remind me that I'm supposed to raise my threat by extra. And everyone's going to ready, and we're going to start the next round. All right, and the card we draw is the 3rd Ether Swordsman. All right, so yeah, willpower, no longer an issue. We are definitely going to be questing with absolutely no problem. I'd love to get that other Amphalas Herdsman into play to give everybody another hit point. Still no Steward, so I'm not able to play as many cards as I would like, but I do play the Amphalas Herdsman, so now all Outlands characters have +2 hit points. Herluin can pay for him. And I'm going to save my resources for next round to put in a 2-cost lore card, and if I find Steward, I'll have 2 leadership resources. So questing with the Aether Swordsmen for 3 each. Glorfindel is 3. Those Herdsmen are 2 each. I'm sending a total of 13. I'm going to pull back one of those Herdsmen. I'll send 11. And we get, okay, we just end the quest phase without doing anything. So I don't place any progress. I don't reveal any cards. I will exhaust Denethor to take a peek. The next card is the Sewers, and it's just a 3-threat location. I'm fine with that. I will use Asphaloth to place 2 progress on the active location, and then I'm going to have to raise my threat by an additional 2, and everyone's going to ready, and we just go into the next round. Okay, and the card we draw is a Miner of the Iron Hills. That's a good way to get rid of that one condition attachment this quest has. But it's not a card I'm looking for. I'm going to put in the Warden of Healing, so I'm going to spend both of my lore resources, pop in the Warden of Healing, and immediately forget how he works. So I heal 2 damage off of 1 character. Now don't worry about it, because we can just assume I healed 1 and then 1 off of one of my Outlands characters. And when I use him next round, I use him correctly, and it all works out. So sorry about that. And let's also get Arwen in play. So Arwen quests for 2, and when she exhausts, she will boost someone's defense. We're going to boost Denethor's defense when she exhausts. And I think I will spend no more resources. I'm good now. Let's just commit to the quest. I know what I'm up against. I just need to make enough progress to clear this active location. Glorfindel is 3. The Aether Swordsmen are 3 each, so that's 9. That's exactly what I needed. The location we reveal has Underworld 1, and it says put another Underworld card underneath the active location. So we do all of that. We clear the active location. That gives us our resource, and now we have 2 cards being added to staging. One is the Pickpocket. So I'm going to lose a resource and a random card. And then, oh boy, the Umbar Assassin. He's bad. He's 40 engagement. So I don't need to engage him, but he has archery. And when he engages you, he deals a lot of damage to one of your heroes. So I don't think I'm going to be engaging him. I don't plan on engaging him anytime soon. Asphaloth will place 2 progress on the active location. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that Pickpocket. I'm going to engage him. The archery goes on Glorfindel. The Pickpocket makes me lose a resource. And then I have to lose a card at random from my hand. And the card is that Miner of the Iron Hills I just drew. Alright, Herluin the Fair is going to defend. He's defending for 2. And attacking enemy gets +2. So Herluin is going to take 2 damage. And then I have lots of characters ready to kill this guy. Denethor is still ready. So he can take a peek, and we're going to get another copy of the Sewers. So I'm not defending with Denethor if I don't have to. It's nice to know what card is coming next round. And there's also some nasty cards that are nice to put on the bottom of the deck. So we're going to go into the next round, raising my threat by 3. And the card we draw is another Warden. Okay, speaking of the Warden, I'm going to use him right this time. So I'm going to heal 2 different characters by 1. So that's why I said it didn't matter. Just assume the last 2 turns I healed Denethor once each turn, and then 2 other characters once. So it all works out. Looking at my hand, I still have lots of lore cards, but I'm only generating 1 lore resource around. It'd be nice to get that Burning Brand in play to cancel a shadow effect. So I will play my 3rd Aether Swordsman. So those 3 Aether Swordsmen, when they're all committed to the quest, they're sending 12 willpower. Just them. And then Glorfindel doesn't exhaust a quest. So, yep, willpower is not an issue with an Outlands deck. Holy cow, can you ramp it up? So I send 3 Outlands characters, Arwen and Glorfindel, to quest for the amount that I need. I reveal the sewers. That makes me place an underworld card under it, and then an underworld card under the active location as well. I do this a little out of order, but so here is the card that was under there. It was a bandit, and then I slide the underworld card underneath the active location, and then that's when I realized I was supposed to have given the active location a second underworld card that way I just explored, and it's a clue. Hey, we get a clue. Exhaust a hero, claim this objective, add 2 resources to the current quest. So that'll let me clear the quest if I do that, because I've cleared 2 locations. So that's great. I'm only going to have to engage 1 enemy right now. So the board state's getting pretty crazy. This is a pretty hard game to keep in camera. I'm going to engage the bandit, and when he engages you, I have to discard 1 resource from each of my hero's resource pools, 2 if I don't optionally engage him. So I'm going to optionally engage him. I lose my resources. It didn't really matter. I only had 1 left anyway. I will put the 2 archery on Herluin. Denethor is defending. He's got Arwen's boost, but there was no shadow. And then I will exhaust my 2 Knights of the Swan. They attack for 4, and I can exhaust another Outlands character to give me my 6th attack. I will exhaust Asphalop to place 2 progress. And then I will exhaust Herluin the Fair. Or, wait, Glorfindel. Sure, why not? I'll exhaust Glorfindel to claim that clue. That lets me place my 2 resources on the quest. So now I advance to stage 3. Stage 3, reveal the set-aside villain and add it to the staging area. Then we have to make 15 progress, and we're going to shuffle the Underworld deck into the Encounter deck. We need to kill the villain to advance. So for the first time this quest, we're actually trying to make progress on the active quest instead of just placing resources on it. So the villain we get is Telumnar's Bane. And when he attacks, we have to discard the top 3 cards of our deck. And then after a player plays an event card, he makes an immediate attack against you. And he has 3 threat. It takes 9 to kill him. So that is our villain we need to destroy. We're still raising our threat by an additional 2 each round. So to win, we need to make 15 progress, and we need to kill that villain. That's our win conditions for the Steward Sphere this time. All right, I'm going to raise my threat by 3, and we're going to start the next round. All right, so I'm almost having to engage that assassin, and we draw a stand and fight. Well, that's nice, because I could pull back a Master of the Forge if I really wanted to try to find that Steward of Gondor. I can pull back an Outlands character that I discarded from those A Very Good Tales. I have a lot of cards in hand, but I think the most important one to get in play is the Knight of the Swan, because that'll let those 3 Knight of the Swans attack for 9 altogether, which is exactly what I need to kill that villain. And now I'm going to give myself the Protector of Lorien on Denethor so he can really defend against a big attack if he has to. So let's freeze the video and look at what we got. We got to make 15 progress. Well, I can quest for a ton, and I have 3 characters, the Knights of the Swan, that can kill my villain. So I should be able to win this round. So what I'm going to do is send the exact number I need on the quest, giving myself a big enough buffer for any card I reveal. And then that 3 is saying I'm probably going to get 3 enemies. I might get 1 off of the deck, and then I'm going to probably get 1 from underneath the active location. So I need to have 3 defenses, and I need to have 9 attack, and I need to quest for about 30. And if I can do those 3 things, I win. So Arwen is going to boost Glorfindel, and I immediately forget I did that. So here's what I'm sending to the quest. 2, 12, 6, 8, 3. Those are all the characters being sent to the quest, and that's once you add in all their boosts and everything. I'm sending a total of 31. The card we reveal is an enemy. It's a 3-threat enemy. So I do make enough progress to place 1 progress on the active location and 15 progress on the quest. Assuming there's an enemy underneath that active location, I need to defend 3 times. And if I lose a hero, that's fine. All I have to do is kill the villain to win. I could actually lose 2 heroes and be fine. And it is an enemy. Ooh, and it's a bad one. It deals 1 damage to each ally, 2 damage if you don't optionally engage it. So I am going to optionally engage that enemy. That's going to do 1 damage to all of my allies, but it only kills 1 of them. It only kills my Warden of Healing. So instead of making my board state absolutely absolutely insane and adding a bunch of damage tokens everywhere. I'm just going to remove the Warden of Healing, and everybody else has either 1 or 2 damage, but my 2 herdsmen give all my Outland characters plus 2 hit points. So all my Outlands characters are still alive. A couple of them are 1 hit point away from death. All right, I'm getting attacked here. I have to discard 3 cards when he attacks. He's attacking for 3, and I'm going to defend with Denethor, and we get no shadow, so no problem there. I will now defend with Herluin. He has plus 1 defense from that Outlands character there. He defends, and we get, if it's undefended, remove a resource, so that's fine. And then Glorfindel is going to defend, and the shadow is plus 1. And I forget that Arwen had boosted him, so I give him an extra damage. I shouldn't have. And then I think it's right about here, I remember, yeah, that I was supposed to take archery somewhere. So any of my Outlands characters that aren't showing a damage, I can just put damage on it. I could lose Outlands characters at this point. It doesn't matter. As long as my Knights of the Swan are still ready, they can kill the villain, and I win. So 1, 2, 3. They each attack for 3. That's a total of 9. I kill the villain. I have 15 progress made. That's Steward Sphere being beaten by Outlands. Whew. All right, that's a lot. That was a lot to keep track of in absolutely crazy board state. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It was a lot of fun to make. I'm going to try in future videos not to have so much going on, but this was a good one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.